Wow. Golden Boy promoter Bernard Hopkins, fighting legend, says he wants his boss, Oscar De La Hoya, to fight the Charlos as well as Canelo Alvarez in 2021. We're going to talk about it.
In the middleweight division, then maybe go up or whatever. But there's some fights in the middleweight division, man, and there's some names out there. And you pit two and I pit two. Tell me who you think.
Charlo. Charlo is the first guy. Demetrius Andrade is the second. Those are my two picks.
Now, would you expect me to say somebody else different?
No, I don't.
So my thing is, I like the Charlo brothers. Listen, I love the brothers. I talk to them. When I see them, we have respect for each other. I like their work ethics. I like their own personality that they have within themselves outside the ring. And family guys, man. So, and they twins. They fighting together. They falling together. They crying together. They laughing together. I see both of them, but I also see two talents that is going to be in different directions as far as their career, but not in a negative way, in a way of having two twin stars reach the top of their, and again, I'm being long with it and they're not even with us. I just got respect for fighters that have that mentality, and that's what I'm speaking of. Yes. That fight I'll love to see in May of 21 with Canelo. Yes. And let me tell you something. Yeah. Charlo, but yeah, I'd love to see that. I would love. Listen, I'd love to see him fight Oscar. I like to see one of the Charlo brothers fight Oscar De La Hoya. If he gonna come back, fight one of them.
Wow. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the Super Chats channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Head over to my Patreon. It's cracking. I'm doing the group sessions. You're getting the dialogue. Check it on the channel. It's a great time, way to connect. Patreon link in the description, or you could become a YouTube channel member with the same perks. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it. Now, that was Bernard Hopkins, link in the description. He did an interview with the AK and Barack show on DAZN, and very interesting things. Bernard Hopkins, he asked the host, he says, name two guys that you want to see Canelo fight, and I'll name two. And unanimously, AK and Barack said the Charlo brothers, and I think AK had thrown out Derevyanchenko or Andrade, Demetrius Andrade, something like that. But the first name that they both agreed on was Jermell Charlo for Canelo. And Bernard Hopkins then enters this long-winded spiel about, instead of just saying that's a great fight, you know, we're going to try to make it, he enters this long-winded spiel about, oh yeah, the Charlos, they're good fighters, they're brothers, they're twins, they laugh together, cry together, you know, they used to sleep together, they're sleeping in the womb together, stuff we already know. We already know the Charlo brothers are twins. I mean, that's how they've been billed. You can look at them, people were getting them confused because they look the same, you know, they look similar. We know they're twins. So that's why I was like, you know, when are we going to get to the point? Then he finally admits, after telling us stuff we already know, that the Jermell Charlo, and see, listen, I got to correct this, because Jermell and Jermall are both great fighters. They're both champions, and they have separate careers. A lot of times when people are talking Canelo, they try to lump both Charlos into the conversation. When I'm talking new media, I'm only referring to Canelo fighting Jermell Charlo because Canelo has since left 154 / Canelo way to 155. So he's no longer in the division where Jermell, until he moves up, if he moves up. So why are people lumping? Some people I see, like when new media is talking about Canelo and Jermell Charlo is a good fight, people lump in Jermell. If Canelo again wanted to fight Jermell, he could have done it and fought either Jermell or Jermall when they were all at 154 / again Canelo weight. So I have to be clear, because new media, you know, I see old media tries to play semantics. Nobody's talking about Jermell in terms of fighting Canelo from what I've seen, because they're in different divisions. If he moves up, then that's a different conversation. Right now, Canelo just last year was in Jermell's division, and Jermell was the mandatory for Canelo. So be clear. So Bernard Hopkins, he's kind of forced to agree. The two hosts with DAZN, the company Canelo fights with, were saying that they would love to see that fight. And he says, what, you thought I was going to say something different? I want to see it May 2021. Why not this year? Why not December? Why wasn't that the priority if that's what Golden Boy really wanted to see? So that's cap. Then he even goes as far to say, if Oscar De La Hoya is coming back, he wants to see the Charlo brothers versus Oscar De La Hoya. Now, the funny thing is, smash the like button, but new media, I made a video about it. Oscar De La Hoya, he posted this picture, and he's done a couple interviews where he said that he was coming back to the sport. As you guys can see, De La Hoya says, I could do some damage at 154-pound weight class, which is the weight class that Jermell is a champion and just got his belt back from Tony Harrison. So I made the video based on Jermell Charlo's response to De La Hoya saying he's unretiring or coming out of retirement, and made the video based on Charlo's response. And it got good viewership and people were into the video. So this is the video. Right now it's at 24,000 views and it's less than a week old, right? So people were entertained with the video and the topic. And I'm also doing a follow-up. Jermell, he says, Oscar De La Hoya, I won't scare you or try to make you stop. Come on. Referring to De La Hoya coming out of retirement. You ain't been touched by this era. You said 154 because I'm the king. Let's go. So Jermell, who's at 54, he says, I'm the king of 54. I got my belt back. What's popping? You coming back? You coming back to boxing? Fight me. And this is Jermell Charlo's ex-boss. He used to be on Golden Boy cards. And maybe he feels a type of way because De La Hoya never signed his brother. He's been vocal about that, stuff like that. But the irony is, new media, this is the fun part. Jermell Charlo calling out Oscar De La Hoya on my video, as well as comments on this post where he says, let's go. If you think you the man, I'm not going to try to stop you from making a comeback. So come into my domain. Jermell Charlo, you've seen a bunch of racists and old media who try to fault Jermell Charlo. He's not at fault. De La Hoya keeps capping, saying he's coming back he hasn't fought since the Pacquiao fight, if I'm not mistaken. So like 12 years in 2008. He had to retire on the stool against Lil Pacquiao. De La Hoya, to try to get his name buzzing or missing the limelight, or maybe he's really considering a return to the ring. I don't know. But he's jogging up headlines by saying he's coming back and he could do damage and beat guys. He's also recently said he was running for president before the week of the Canelo Golovkin 2 fight. He also talked about he could knock out Conor McGregor. So I don't fault guys like Jermell Charlo or Conor McGregor who responded to De La Hoya. De La Hoya is a respected legend for his fight game. And he keeps talking about, I'm going to come back. So you have to deal with this new generation of fire. You're not talking about an exhibition like Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones. Like, you're saying you can do damage at 154. So why would I have gotten mad at Jermell Charlo for responding to De La Hoya, who says he can beat champions and stuff? And Jermell's like, okay, what's up? You my ex-boss, you a respected name in the division. I mean, you have the bullseye on your back. So I made the video. Jermell called him out in the tweet. And the funny thing is, like I said, you have racists and old media getting mad at Jermell Charlo in the comment section saying, oh, stop picking on the old man and, this, that, and the third, right? But now you have Bernard Hopkins, who works for Golden Boy, saying he wants to see it. So bring it on. Now the people who try to say stop picking on the old man, De La Hoya, or, fight someone in prime, they sound stupid because both Charlos are basically doing unifications and they're in tough fights announced by Showtime a couple days ago. You have Jermell Charlo taking on Derevyanchenko, who we know just beat Gennady Golovkin and got robbed. Then you have Jermell fighting Rosario, who just fought pre-pandemic in January of this year and destroyed Julian J. Rock Williams for his title in J. Rock's backyard. So these are big fights. So again, follow up to my previous video, I had no problem with Jermell responding to Oscar De La Hoya. He said he's coming back. He's a name, you know. Plus, I said Jermell might want to get something off his chest because he used to be with him. Maybe he don't like it. I don't know. So I have no problem with it. But there was a lot of people with old media that had a problem with it. But how can you have a problem with it and a Golden Boy associate and a rep of Golden Boy, Bernard Hopkins, says he wants to see the Charlos get Canelo fights in May 2021. And he says he wants to see Oscar fight the Charlos. That's his word. So it's looking real shaky for old media. Some guy said, this is the post where Jermell called him out. He says, I think Oscar De La Hoya would beat you, G. What have you really done? I felt like both of y'all lost on that PBC card just being 1,000. Okay, make the fight then. Someone said he playing with his nose again. De La Hoya in his prime would devour your lunch and your twin for dessert. See, it's like old media, they get so emotional and they get so hurt and they just start talking crazy. Someone said, fuck him up. Charlo beat the brakes off him. But there were a lot of comments that were saying, oh, pick on someone your own age. It would be sad to give you old Oscar. You see, old Oscar. We're not playing these games, bro. If Oscar says he wants to come back, that's his choice. Mike Tyson's coming back, you know, but he's doing the exhibition. De La Hoya ain't talking about the exhibition. He's saying I could run through champions and or beat guys at 154. So then, I mean, you open the floodgates for that, for people to call you out. De La Hoya was a beast. Sure, he still has a little bit to compete, but not at an elite level. He wants a big name. He ain't coming back. You and Rosario need to fight to determine who is king. Well, ironically enough, this post happened before Showtime announced, and you see this, somebody said you and Rosario got to fight. That's who Charlo's actually fighting. Listen, it's looking crazy. I don't know what Golden Boy is doing, but it's looking bad for old media and all these games. Look, perfect example. This Max Loco dude said, LOL, why you chasing a fight with the retired 47-year-old? You're meant to be a lion. Go fight the best. Again, ironically enough, people are trying to shame Jermell Charlo, and he's merely responding to De La Hoya. But they're trying to make it look bad. Oh, just go fight the best. Guess what? Showtime announcement. Showtime boxing, right? They said, go fight the best. Why you chasing the old man, basically? Boom. What does that say? Oh, that's right. Both Charlos, September 26th, pay-per-view doubleheader. One's fighting Sergey Derevyanchenko. One's fighting in a unification against Jason Rosario. So checkmate to old media. Once again, it looks bad. If De La Hoya wants to come back to the sport and he's not clout chasing, then this is what he's going to have to deal with. Now you can no longer say that Jermell Charlo is wrong for calling out De La Hoya or responding to De La Hoya, because his own associate with Golden Boy just confirmed that he too wants to see the fight, and he too wants to see Canelo fight Jermell Charlo. So I can't wait to see what's next. We'll see if Golden Boy can make some of these fights or if it's just clout chasing. Golden Boy keeps saying and pumping up, and DAZN keeps pumping up Virgil Ortiz versus Danny and Keith Thurman. Golden Boy got to make those fights. You know, talking about Errol Spence, it's about what you can produce. Jermell and Jermall, I'm showing you on the screen, they're in good fights, signed, sealed, and delivered on Showtime, on pay-per-view. So they're getting that pay-per-view guap. Meanwhile, Golden Boy, articles are coming out saying Canelo's lawyer is being held up because DAZN trying to backtrack on paying him and don't want to pay him the full amount that I guess he's entitled for his purse because of the opponent selection. Ryan Garcia, we don't know when he's fighting either. He's upset, saying he was offered $200K, but then the California State Athletic Commission released the purses and said Virgil Ortiz made $250K versus Samuel Vargas. And he's not even as popular. He's a good fighter, but he's not as popular as Ryan Garcia. It's looking funny with Golden Boy. I don't know why they're doing these things. How are you going to pay Ryan Garcia $200K, but then give more money to Virgil Ortiz for a guy who's been beaten and stopped, beaten by Amir Khan, stopped by Danny Garcia, stopped by Errol Spence, lost all his biggest fights. But then you have this viral sensation and people are making fun of it. Oh, you got an Instagram following, but he's found a niche that he can niche down to, and people are paying attention to Ryan Garcia, and he gets less money, you know, it's just looking crazy. But once again, this is a follow-up video. Bhop is saying De La Hoya should fight Charlo. So if he's coming back, make the fight. ESPN Plus, click the link in the description. It does help the channel. ESPN Plus, the home of a lot of original content. They got archived UFC fights. They got archived boxing fights, specials, BTS, exclusives. Click the link in the description if you want to help the channel grow and you want a ton of content through ESPN Plus. If that's not enough, you can get the bundle ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus, all 3 apps, one price, $12.99 a month. And again, it helps the channel when you click that affiliate link. But all in all, this is looking a mess for Golden Boy. This is looking a mess for old media. They tried to shame Charlo and say, why are you chasing a retired 47-year-old? De La Hoya said he's coming back. How's that a Charlo problem? Charlo wants to prove he's the best. De La Hoya is a legend, Hall of Famer. So if he's coming back, why would you not expect the bullseye to be on his back? De La Hoya in his prime would have destroyed Charlo. Who knows? He'll probably make an interesting fight now. So if De La Hoya is coming back, then make the fight. What's the problem? You know what I mean? It's just looking crazy. So De La Hoya, he should really make up his mind if he's coming back. If he wants to come back, because the more you keep talking about it for headlines, this is just a bad look. You're being called out. And then now Bernard Hopkins is telling you he wants to see it. So we're done with the clout chasing, folks. Either De La Hoya is going to come back and train. And then he literally said, De La Hoya did an interview with DAZN. He literally said just recently where he was talking about Canelo, Ryan Garcia, and a slew of other things. And he said he don't want no tune-ups because that's how he's handled his whole career. You know, I could pull it up. He says, if I come back, I'm coming back for the best. You know, I don't need no tune-ups. So De La Hoya put this bullseye on his back. Now it's confirmed. You can't blame Charlo. You can't say, oh, you picking on an old man and go fight someone good. Because guess what? Charlo is fighting someone good in Rosario. Look, someone said quit playing and fighting Lara. So it sounds like a bunch of fear from old media. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. We work. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.